forest, winds howl and rage, with no leaves to blow. That is our opening haiku. We've been talking about poetry all week, different types of poetry. Today we're going to focus on haikus. So with that being said, when you saw, and I just read this haiku, what did it make you think of? What do you think that meaning is?
Winter?
Could be.
Christmas?
Yeah, could be.
The woods.
Yeah.
Like the seasons changing, maybe? Not
Yeah.
particularly.
Now, hold on to that thought. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to watch a video, more of listen to it. I'm going to give you a copy of the haikus that are about to be recited. While you're listening to these, I want you to think of what are the haikus, or what are haikus, and what makes up one, like the characteristics of one. Like what goes into it, how do you make one, stuff like that to kind of review, because we touched on it a little bit earlier in the week, but now we're coming back to it. And also there's going to be some music in the back. I want you to kind of listen for it and see if you think the haiku would be different without the music, the tone of it, and the meaning of it would be different if it did or did not have that music.
This dark spring morning, have we slipped back to winter? All I see is mist. Spring and winter fight. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Spring will win for now. At last the sun warms, nature stirring all around, green shoots in my heart. Surrounded by life, slowly bursting from the dark, winter hibernates.
Okay, so there's just a few to think on. Now, what did we think about when we heard some of these?
Nature.
Okay, nature. What else?
Like seasons.
Did you notice anything about the structure of how the poems were written?
They were all 3 lines.
Okay, 3 lines. Anything else about them? Do you remember anything that we talked about earlier in the week, or anything about haikus that make up them, or what are they
The
normally
syllables?
about? Okay, what about the syllables?
There's 5 syllables, right? In the first line?
In the first line? That's right. 5.
There's 7 in the second line.
Yep.
And 5 again in the last.
Alright, so 5, 7, 5 or make up our 3 lines. That's great, guys. So what did you think about the music? Do you think those poems would be different without the music? Or do you think they'd probably be about the same? Did the music have any impact on the tones and the theme of it?
It made it more peaceful.
Yeah, I think the music, it doesn't necessarily change the meaning, but it brings like a lighter tone, like a more, like like the one about the spring fighting winter, it could have been more negative. It didn't have like happy music behind it.
Alright, I like it. Alright. So we mentioned the 5-7-5 lines with our 3 lines. This is a haiku itself. It's a little helpful tool to help you remember. It might help, it might not. I am first with 5, then 7 in the middle, 5 again to end. So you have 5 syllables in the first, and then 7, and you can do that with either with your chin or the whole clapping. I know we discussed those earlier. And then 5 in the last line. If your haikus do not have the 5-7-5, then it wouldn't be a haiku anymore. Haikus normally sound odd when you first hear them, just based off of, it doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense, unless like you think about it. A lot of haikus are mainly used just because of how simple that they can be and how much meaning that can come across when you use them. So they're most commonly used for talking about animals, seasons, nature, which is all things we heard, and places. Now, I'm going to recite one, and I want you guys to tell me what you think about it. Like, what does it remind you of? If you've heard anything like it before. In a pouch I grow, on a southern continent, strange creatures I know. What does that sound like?
Kangaroo.
A kangaroo. Okay, so it was kind of like a question, right? And it had an answer.
More like a riddle.
It was like a riddle. A lot of riddles you hear are haikus and we don't realize it. That's the funny thing about it. So you'll hear a lot of those. So when you go and tell your friends on the playgrounds different riddles, you might actually be doing a whole entire haiku. That makes them a little bit easier to deal with when it's common. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is, you guys have your notebooks out. We're gonna brainstorm real quick a couple things about the school, and we're going to write a haiku together to post outside the classroom on the wall for the school to see. We're gonna write a haiku about our school. So, but first we're gonna choose a topic to write about, because how can you write about something without a topic? So what are some things in the school, about the school?
Playground.
Okay.
Sports. Math class.
Lunch.
Christmas play.
Alright. Do you have any other ideas? No? Alright. So out of these 5, which one would you guys most want to write about? You're feeling something about. How many for playground? No, not feeling playground.
Oh, I like playground.
Like playground. 1 for playground. Anyone for sports? No? Alright. Anyone for math class? No. What about lunch?
I could do lunch too, yeah.
Okay. And then anyone for Christmas play? I think lunch won. Alright. So we chose lunch. So let's title it lunch. Alright, so our first line has to be what? When we're writing haikus, your first lines are always
5 syllables.
5 syllables. Alright, so we need 5 syllable first line. What's something we can kind of say about lunch that gives us those 5?
Large room filled with noise.
Okay. So large room filled with noise. Did we get 5? Alright. So next line, what's our next line gotta be?
7.
7. Okay. What can we do to make 7 syllables that has to do with lunch?
Stomach growling while in line.
So stomach growling while in line. Did we get our 7 syllables? Yeah? Alright. So our last line has to be how many?
5.
5. Okay. So what can we think of for our last one? We've got large room filled with noise, stomach growling while in line.
Sit down, food is gone.
So sit down, food is gone. We think that's good? So large room filled with noise, stomach growling while in line, sit down, food is gone. Y'all just made your first haiku. So that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Alright. So the next thing we're gonna do, now we did it together, and I think you guys did an awesome job. I think you guys know what you're doing. So, I'm gonna come around with a hat. It's got a piece of paper in it. When you open your piece of paper, there's gonna be one word. You're given one word. You're going to write a haiku based on that one word, or using that one word. So that doesn't necessarily have to be your topic. You at least have to use it, or it can be your topic. You guys have 10 minutes, maybe 15. We'll see where everyone's at when it gets closer to time to write your haiku. I'll play some music while we do this.
You haven't seen the sun in like for
Are we getting close to being done? Daniel, are you good?
If I'm done.
I think Matt might need some help. Matt, do you need any help? No? He's almost done too. Alright, we're good? Let me turn this off. Alright, so Matt, what was your word?
Fall.
Fall. Would you like to share your poem?
Sure.
Or haiku?
Colors changing by day. Leaves are falling after dark. Winter is coming.
That's great. I love it. That was awesome. And you did your 5-7-5. That was great. Daniel, what was your word?
Beach.
Beach. Would you like to share your haiku with us?
Yeah. Warm and sunny day. It is time to swim and play. My favorite place.
That's amazing. So, Daniel's was about a place, and we talked about how most haikus were about places. Matt's was fall, is a season, which kind of describes a feeling or about the place. You guys did awesome. Next, we're gonna put these away for later, and then we'll put our class haiku outside when I get it printed off for us, and we all put our names on them. Next thing we're gonna do, we'll move on to math.